microwave. My brother is home.
I don't know. Well, I was just saying I have to BRB again 1 sec, so.
Okay, no problem. I was saying that the Sound Station making it through, it is a veto process. It's not like the Elite League or the Corsair Cup where they're kind of forced eventually to play on like bad maps they don't want to. No, it's a veto process. So neither of them vetoed. They both had 2 options to veto, and Sound Station was not vetoed. So hey, that's cool. In the bottom right, ish, it is the pink Zerg Miniraser, and he is going to be going for an early pool. Trying to take advantage of a very, very small map. In the top, middle-ish, left, it is the blue Zerg TLO, who is trying to take the gold base, which I just think is very bold. Into a double extractor, into more drones. Oh, jeez. This might just be the worst build possible on the worst map possible. There is a little bit, I think, what's going on is you know, in any matchup, PvP, TvP, TvZ, there's like a little bit of like, you know, it is so obvious you're going to do some type of cheese that I'm going to expect you not to do it and just play a macro game. But that is always so bold to think. Another double extractor shit goes down. So, I mean, the point is like the point right now is that he needs to get lings and queens and maybe even a spine crawler if he could afford it, and he's not going to be able to. Now, luckily, Miniraser does not go for the gas version of this all-in. You know, it doesn't have lings speed on the way, doesn't have a Baneliness on the way, and TLO actually manages to see it because it is such a short map. He sees that, I think he saw first that it wasn't, I don't even check the base. So he just saw the spawning pool timing. A little worrying for his Overlord because that means the queen's on the way, but he's gonna go ahead and let that hatchery finish. Now this is interesting. Usually you don't get a full scout in the main like TLO did, because by the time your Overlord does make it to their base, the queen is out, especially if they went for an early pool. But because he knows the follow-up isn't Banelings and Ling speed, I think he should try and hold on to this base. Honestly, if it was a Baneling follow-up, he might still have let it finish anyway, just to buy more time, but yeah, I think he's gonna be able to save it. These Lings, it's not quite low enough to try and sack the Lings on top, and that does keep TLO in a decent position. Remember, he never got the gases, he constantly extractor tricked, but never got the gases, so, I mean, even if he took drone damage, drone losses, which he only took 1 of, that's impressive, he'd be able to drone pretty heavily beyond this, especially because once you have this choke, it's like playing on Frost, right? You can put Evolution Chambers down, you get your queens in position. Oh, that's what he's gonna do. He's actually gonna wall off here. That's another option. There's... What? No. I was gonna say that, well, the creeps would have to go up here. He's just gonna attack. He knows Miniraser went for gas eventually. Oh no. Well, this is interesting. This might still work out. He might be thinking Miniraser's also going gasless, and it's just like, okay, it's gonna be numbers versus numbers. And you know, Miniraser never went for speed. He's just going for Banelings now, so he wasn't entirely wrong on that. And he's just gonna win. The spine crawler comes down. Actually, it doesn't bother since everything was cleaned up. And Miniraser, who would have expected this, you know? He was trying to catch up after realizing not killing the hatchery was a pretty damn big deal. So even though he got the gas, he never really used it. And because of that, he loses the game. Had he gone to the metabolic boost, had he gone for the Baneling Nest with all that gas, he has a defense. But who expects that from TLO?
I really like the funny thing is that spine crawler ends up working out so much better. Like offensively, it looks silly, but you realize how close the bases are on this map with him having expanded the way he did.
Yeah, I really thought it was gonna be a forward, you know, choke position so he could be a macro, but that really flipped on its head. Again, if Miniraser had gone for the true all-in, I think TLO might still die. Like that was pretty dangerous of TLO to do the first 2 minutes. Or if he had used the gas after, but he was trying to catch up and just didn't get much of anything. And who expects it, right? So it wasn't even that he didn't have tech for it, he also just didn't have a lot of units for it.
Well, that's game number 1 in the best of 3. We'll see if this turns around any better. Miniraser comes into the game, asks, like, was it gasless? I knew I shouldn't have left Das on versus you. It came to their vetoes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always going to be an odd map, and it's not figured out by anyone or for anyone. Maybe you know what Bly is going to do on the map, but not many others. So we got the French casters joining us now too.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Hello.
Buongiorno.
In the bottom right, as the pink Zerg, he's down 1. It's Miniraser.
Another player.
Building
For
anything.
Overlords?
Yeah, both going for early pools.
So this will be interesting because of the fact that A, it's Preston Temple, and B, this is kind of a nice reply out of TLO to what Miniraser did in Game 1. It's a bit of a gamble on both sides anytime you take an early pool like this, but I guess this will be scrappy and fun and interesting. We'll see if there's too much of deviation. It's like a 1 drone difference, not the end of the world. But I do feel watching TLO's, how to phrase it, like his calm in that last game. There's no panicking, there's no overreacting. He did exactly what he needed to.
You never introduced TLO, but that's fine.
Okay, in the top left, guys, it's not Miniraser.
Yeah.
It's Liquid's TLO!
There you go. They're both going for the same early pool, so it is going to be... It's kind of an awkward situation where they will... I mean, I guess depending on the angle, one person might see the Lings a little before the other, and that can happen and can actually be like a really big deal. If they're up on the ramp and the other player doesn't see that, they could drastically lose the Ling fight, and that might turn into a counter, but more often, you know, especially on a map where the avenue of attack is limited to usually one avenue, they just bounce off each other. You know, they both leave. TLO is actually the one that tries to take a fight. Miniraser thought he'd just hold the middle position, but it's really not. It's not gonna happen for either one of them. Like, seriously. If they take a fight and either one comes out with more than 3 Lings left over, I'd be really surprised. Someone would have really had some terrible luck.
Stop
for
trying
that
to
to
make fetch happen.
Yeah. So what is interesting is while they dance in the middle and you know, not much is happening, thanks to BB Mello for the 9-month resub. What are they doing beyond this? So TLO's the one that got a gas. Miniraser goes gasless. So again, he can pump out more drones, and that's great. But he won't have a lot of control over the game for some time. Oh, gets a queen. I'd say that's pretty nice, especially if he can get away with the majority of his Lings. That is the majority. Those 2 almost got surrounded. But a Baneley Nest is on the way right now. That's interesting. Usually a Baneley Nest like this is defensive, you know, without speed accompanying it. But we know that Miniraser is not going to be attacking anytime soon. So that's either a waste or, and TLO just, you know, last game didn't need fast Lings, right? He just did everything with slow Lings. Or it's going to be a huge surprise. Like, you're going to see a slow Ling swell run past your Overlord. Oh, not this Overlord. Queen goes really far out to reach it. Past this Overlord, and you're going to be like, well, that's not what I expected. I guess I die, you know? I mean, you're supposed to be able to see it. They're not supposed to really do it. Maybe if it's a longer map, you have more time to prepare, but it's Frozen Temple, so, you know. Okay, he does see the Banelings. I think that's helpful, for sure. And he did bother to get a Spine Crawler, just in case something came out beyond this, because he has no idea what TLO is doing. I mean, he's probably thinking right now that speed's gonna finish in a second.
Oh no! John misses the Evo Chamber. There we go. Finally gets it down. If that wasn't down, the Banelings would have had free reign to just walk right on in. Now for TLO, of course, if he wants to bust that wall, it's not like busting depots. You gotta waste a lot of Banelings on it.
Yeah. I think he's quite bummed that there's a wall, to be honest. I think ideally this just catches Miniraser so off guard. He just has to surround the queens, but this so far doesn't look like it's gonna work, and TLO is just continuing to commit to it. I mean, I can see why. I mean, how do you not commit to this? You just start droning? I mean, Miniraser's starting to drone. He really thinks he has this held. So there's no way that TLO would be able to catch up. But don't underestimate the power of, like, this committed all in. You always start to be like, okay, I'm safe, and that's when you die.
So that's what shocks me about how committed this is being. Like, obviously, at this point, it's too far gone. You can't just go back and drone. You're down 14-something workers, right? Like, but he let it get this far. Now he's going to bust those, and there's going to be transfuses, and we'll see if this is going to be good or not. Tries to hit the queen with it too. It does take out the Evo Chamber, but the problem is, even though he gets in here, there's still a lot of units for Miniraser. Like the queens, the Lings of his own. Like, this might not work for TLO.
I don't think it has. He was expecting too much of a surprise, and Miniraser was able to react. And this is just game. There's really... He's trying to drone right now. He's bringing his queens on across. Like, that's not gonna... It's not gonna happen. Miniraser just needs to wall off again, and he never has to worry about being attacked.
I mean, he can't see the numbers we see, but when you know it's this big of a difference...
This is brutal. TLO's clever surprises worked out so well in the first game, but the second game, not gonna happen. GG. Okay, 2 really quick games. Still adds up to just about enough to take a break before we get into the ace match, so see you soon. Hey, it took a little bit longer than expected for the break, I suppose, but no shenaniganery has happened for once,
Wait.
so it ended up working out.
That's not correct. Because the ad ran for as long as we expected it to. The game started sooner than expected.
That's correct. Thanks. In the bottom left, as the pink Zerg, he is Miniraser.
And his opponent, getting an introduction properly this time, it's TLO.
Yeah. Alright, so New Gettysburg, I guess it would be a little difficult to do something like an early pool on this map. I mean, Dasan Station is Dasan Station, and then Frozen Temple, not necessarily like super common for early pools, but you know, obviously it can happen that they both go for it, and that was just pretty coincidental. But New Gettysburg, I mean, you have this bridge, and if you can't get past the bridge, if they put a spine crawler down, if they put a queen there, if they put 4 lings there, I mean, hell, you can even block with 2 drones for a little bit, right? You're kind of out of luck, because with slow lings, you're not going to go around to the Selnaga and try and wrap around. So they both kind of just acknowledge, I guess, that's the case. Go for the macro game. And yeah, we'll see what happens from here. The spawning pool position, though. Like, what's up with that? Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. This is... Maybe he was transferring your drone to a hatchery and said, screw it, I want to go pool for... I don't know.
I really... Sometimes we've been seeing players, like, go over here or, like, over there on, like, Galactic Process, and it seems to be because they want to scout the Reaper that much quicker, but that's, you know, versus Terran.
I was gonna say, gotta watch out for that TLO Reaper.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know what would it be for ZvZ. In fact, this is usually really bad because in ZvZ you want a little like nook for your queen in case lings get in. This means spawn pool could be surrounded and there is no nook for the queen, but they both go for third bases, so it actually, grand scheme of things, does not matter. Oh well. Bailey Nest comes down, ling speed. I mean, they're playing greedy, but not quite dangerous, might be the best way to put it. As they are getting all these units are going to help out in the mid-game defense, but they're also getting very quickly to their third bases and still droning as well. Though TLO a little more than Miniraser now. I mean, more lings beyond that. He's actually using 6. Okay, there we go. I was like, where is the other 6 larvae going to go into? So it is going to be a ling flood from Miniraser. Probably going to attempt to cancel this base, or kill it. Actually, it'll be done, but TLO should not let that happen. He should have scouting to respond correctly, and banelings, obviously. There's a lot of lings going to the middle of the map. As I said, if there's like, you know, or banelings, yeah, this works out too. Oh, Jesus. Good predictions from Miniraser. Really good predictions.
Of course, he didn't, I want to say he didn't reveal his lings, but the Overlord on the bridge sees everything there, so while he did handle that nicely, there's more banelings where that came from!
Jesus. He's trying to...
TLO on a back attack, which is kind of clever, but unfortunately lost a lot of lings in the process. So both players trade out here pretty roughly, but TLO's got more drones on the back end of it. He's got queens guarding that bridge now. This is working out pretty well for him. But he's down an army supply, so if he loses control of the bridge, if he loses this choke, it's the only thing he has going for him.
Ooh, barely doesn't save that queen. This queen goes down too, just like taps. You're dead.
He does focus the baneling down with her last dying breath, and in that regard, the drones can be pulled now to deal with the lings temporarily, but of course, as more banelings morph in, that becomes more of an impossibility.
Oh god. No cancel is not biggest deal. I mean, it's more just like that it wasn't able to finish. Like, he kind of needed that spine crawler. His lings are now popping out, but I think he's made 2 banelings somewhere. Or maybe he's only just making them. Yeah, this is certainly a problem. TLO just a little bit too late on his production. He has so many drones, but he just loses so many. 15 just went down, I think, the same time the natural was hit. And TLO, he just lost. He's lost too many drones.
Wow.
That's it.
GG.
Wow, the bridge worked is what I'm so astounded about, okay? Like,
Yeah,
sometimes
you
you
didn't
focus
go
on the
around the north
bridge,
side.
but then the north side comes in and that's where they lose? No, it was all the bridge.